All right, another episode of Conversate After Dark. Tay, what's up with you?
Everything's great with me. What's going on with you?
All good, it's all good. Tell people they can find us.
You can find us at Conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at cvadthepodcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. You can listen to past episodes. Make sure you tell a friend. Tay, let's do the icebreaker.
Okay. Have you ever had a bedroom name or alter ego? And what is it?
Oh, like something I created or something somebody gave to me?
Either one.
Mm, no, I
No.
have. Um, I had somebody say that I was a demon in the bed. She said I was a sex demon in the bed. I don't really want to claim that. Um, no, I don't. I just don't. No, I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer for that. I used to joke. I don't know if this is a thing that dudes do, but there was this old white comedian, Andrew Dice Clay,
Hmm.
joke where he would call his Johnson Stanley, and he'd say,
Okay.
like Stanley, and they'd be like Stanley. He was like, like the power tool. So I used to call my shit Stanley, but he stopped being relevant a long time ago, so people don't get the joke. But
Yeah.
no, I don't. What about you?
Um, not something that's stuck. When so I've kind of always had two Facebook pages, I guess you could say, but I created the second one originally because Facebook had these games you could play, but you had to share like things with yourself, well, with people in the game, and I didn't have a lot of friends who played, so I created a second Facebook page to help myself in the game. Fast forward years later, when Facebook started cracking down on things you could post and they started putting people in Facebook jail, I started using that as like my alternate Facebook page for whenever I got kicked out of my main page. But the name on the page was Janelle. So I was dealing with a guy who would say, like, if I got extra freaky or whatever, he would say, that's Janelle coming out. That's not you. The crazy thing about that though is that that's my mama's middle name. So it kind of creeped me out a little bit, but he didn't know that though.
Wow, wow. Yeah.
And I did used to joke that my inner lesbian's name was Lisa. That was an inside joke for myself.
That's funny. Nah, I mean, I had created an alternate Facebook page, but I was just using that to stalk somebody. Uh,
Okay.
but I don't even remember the damn page. And then there's another page that I have for Conversate that I can log on to and I can use or whatever. And I used to use that to monitor, the Facebook group when
Hmm.
I got put in the Facebook jail. But ever since, Trump been back in office, they don't give a damn. You can say whatever the hell you want. Now, there's times where I posted, and it's funny how I don't know if certain people get different attention on Facebook, but I can pull a meme from somebody else's group or page and
Hmm.
post it in my group, and Facebook will flag me.
Yeah, once Facebook has flagged you, you're always on their radar. And I used to know how you could, because there was at one point in time, there was a time limit where like after a certain amount of time you would get off of it. I used to know how to find that, but they've gone through so many changes over the years. I don't remember how to
Yeah,
see if you're still on their list or not. But typically, once you're on their list, the bots have you, and every time the bots see something, they flag it.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, like, I thought it was because I mean, at one point in time, they made me do double authentication.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I think to some people I was just checking. I got 1,800 Facebook friends. So I think that's considered, for somebody who's not a celebrity, I think that's considered a lot. So they were like, okay, because of how many people that you're Facebook friends with, and because you manage groups and whatever, if you get hacked, then it could be really problematic. So they like forced me to do stuff. So I may be getting extra attention for that too. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah.
Could be, but I think it's some bullshit though.
It is.
I think it's some bullshit. So I kind of like really try to like walk a fine line. Like I post stuff inside the comments, like I'll make a post, then post it in the comments, or whatever. And even then, sometimes they'll flag me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been flagged, but that's because they they actually Facebook actually deleted my original page. So now my what was my secondary page is my main
Did they
page.
delete it or they just locked you out of it?
Um, they locked me out of it at first, but pe other people can't. Usually, when they lock you out of it, you can still like get to it. Like other people can still see it. Like that page is not accessible at all.
Hey, that sucks.
Yeah.
These pictures and different
Yep.
like that. That sucks.
Yep.
That sucks. Cause like today, I posted because it seems like they put all kind of awareness agendas on different months, and it's a good thing. So I'm part of a nonprofit. Um, so May is like Foster Care Awareness Month. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month, but
Hmm.
also Masturbation Month. And so I posted that to try to get people's response. And, some people responded, but it's still somewhat, I think, for our age group, something that some people are comfortable with talking about out loud, but then other people are like, when you're in your 50s, early 60s or whatever, I
Hmm.
it goes back to, and you let me know if I'm right or not, it goes back to what you talked about, the shame that a lot of women receive from other women and maybe from the church, where they won't openly talk about, masturbation as if it's a bad thing. What do you think?
Yeah, not just other women, men and women have put shame on women in the past. But I agree with you. I do think that that has a part to do with it. It has actually hasn't been until who was the Surgeon General years ago. She
What I know is Sierra Cooper. I know there was a black surgeon general, and I should know her name,
yeah.
but I forget.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't remember her name either, which is a shame. I feel like I should know it. If I hear it, I'm like, yes, that's her, but I can't think of it offhand. But she was the first person that I think talked about masturbation publicly and like as like a health thing. Like people should be doing this. And I remember she got a lot of flack for that. And she was older than us because she was what we would have considered old when
Oh,
she was in.
so there was two black women. The
Okay,
Jocelyn Elders, she was Surgeon General for a year under Clinton, and then there was Dr. Regina Benjamin.
I think it was Jocelyn Elders.
So that was back in 93, 94. So
Yeah, yeah. She was the first person I remember speaking about it publicly and getting ridiculed about it, and other people being like, "No, we shouldn't be telling kids about this." That's what the thing was. We shouldn't be telling kids about that. And I was in high school at the time, so I was considered a kid, And so our generation, I think, is leading that, but it's still a lot of shame connected to that, for us.
yeah, even I mean for guys, I don't think it's like shame. It's more about being teased. And I think
Hmm.
guys are more open about it than women are. And that's just my, assumption. Because, the joke about guys is like, you're gonna get hairy palms or you're gonna go blind, shit like that or whatever. But I haven't seen men shamed about it. And even when you talked about it's not just women, it's men who have shamed women as well. I never got that. I never got that. Now, there were times when I was with somebody and I did feel a little bit inadequate because she pulled out a big ass thing and started going to work. And I was just like, well, damn, I thought you liked what I do. But how she was like, it's totally different, bro. But for a while there, I was just kind of, like, "God damn, girl, for real." But I just don't think dudes carry the same stigma. I don't think it carries the same stigma for guys as it does for women, and I don't think that's cool.
Yeah, not at all. But if we want to go back to the Bible, you know, over the years when I was younger, people used to always bring this scripture out um to talk against the masturbation. And I should be going into biblical stuff because I'm not a biblical scholar, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's a scripture about spilling seed, and
Yeah,
that was usually the scripture people talked about when they saying you shouldn't masturbate, or that the Bible talks against masturbation. But that scripture I've learned over the years is not actually talking about masturbation. It's talking about the tradition that the people had back then about um, a husband dying and then his widow not having children. It would fall onto the responsibility of the next kin in line, which is crazy, but that's what it was. That's what it was talking about. So it was saying instead of the guy ejaculating into her, he would ejaculate on the floor. That was what was wrong. So, and then there's no scripture to coincide with the women for masturbation. So it's like if masturbation is wrong, is a sin, it seemed like it would be a scripture for both and not just one.
yeah, I think it, and I'm definitely not a biblical scholar at all, but I think you have to look at what it meant during the time
Hmm.
and not trying to fit it to what it means today to us, our interpretation now, especially when it comes to things like that. So Darius said I was going to comment on the masturbation post, but I was masturbating. Too much information. We did not need to know that, not at all. But going back to you talk about men shaming women, um, I've talked to some women and they said that guys had an issue with them masturbating. And I always looked at it as an enhancer. Like I wouldn't mind watching you do it. I wouldn't mind you doing it while we are doing our thing. I've never really been, other than the one situation that I talked about, it's never been something that has made me feel some type of way at all. Because honestly, it's like, well, it's not like she's cheating. She's doing her thing, and it's whatever. Now, if that's the only thing she is doing and it's taken away from her desire to interact with me, then I can see it becoming problematic, right? And I think people normally talk about that with men, but I can assume, or I would assume that women could fall into that trap as well. But I know for me and for guys, before I let you jump in, sometimes you can get into the trap of masturbating too much, and it does start to impact the quality of the sex that you have.
Yeah. I haven't run into any guys that I've been intimate with who've had a problem with me pleasuring myself. I don't know why that's embarrassing to say, but it is.
Does that make you nervous, Tay, saying that?
A little bit, a little bit.
All the other shit that you talk about on this show, that makes you nervous.
But you know what's crazy?
There's that historical shame.
Historical shame, but not just that. Me personally, I when it comes to in the bedroom, I'm like a no holds barred. I don't have many. I do have some red lights, but I don't have many red lights that I'm not willing to cross. But it's always been like people. There have been guys who like to watch women pleasure themselves. That always makes me nervous. So I think that's why just talking about it just now, just I was like, oh gosh, like hide my face. But
You don't like being the center of attention like that.
yeah, yeah. Even though, which is funny, I grew up performing on stages and choirs on acting, all that stuff. But when the attention is solely focused on me, I do have a like, hey, I don't like this thing going on. But
It's different on being on stage. You can kind of zone out and not see the crowd, and you got on clothes, and you're not, vulnerable. So there's a difference to that. One of
yeah,
the one of the people said, as a guy, he said, it has kept me from making some bad decisions. Never good to go grocery shopping on an empty stomach.
I hear people say that, but it's never stopped me from making bad decisions. Because if I want something, I want it. So,
there's this chick that we used to fool around. We were friends. And I can't even call it friends with benefits because we never had sex. But we would definitely like fool around. Well, what's my favorite term? Heavy petting. We would do we would do a lot of heavy petting, right? And like make
mhm.
out and everything. And I remember she's notorious for being late. But this time she was like super late, like I was about to bounce. And we were talking, and she was like, yeah, I had to get one off before I came and saw you. And I said, what? She was like, I had to get a nut off before I came and saw you. Which, sidebar, I don't like when women say nut. You know what I'm saying? That's something dudes do. That's just my personal thing. Well, whatever. But she said, yeah, I had to get it off because I knew if I didn't, we would probably go all the way. We'd be fucking. And I was like, well, damn, what's wrong with that? She was like, nah, we friends. Yeah, we fool around, but I'm not ready for all that. And I was just like, that was the first time I've ever heard a woman tell me that she had to go ahead and handle that so that way she would have more clarity when she was around me.
That never worked. I've tried that. That never worked for me.
You tried it?
That's what I was saying. I've tried that before. Like when I want something, I want it. So typically if I don't want to go to that point with a guy, then I'm gonna have to do something else to keep from doing that. I'm masturbating is not gonna keep me from it.
Like what?
Like setting boundaries of like I'm leaving by a certain time if things are getting too hot and heavy, leaving or just not going out, just stuff like that.
Mm. So, do you have you ever been with a partner who liked masturbating and did it ever become an issue?
It's never become an issue that I could tell anyway.
You cool with it, so he can do it as
Yeah,
much as he wants.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, my thing is as long as whatever you're doing does not affect our situation and what we got going on, hey, do what you gotta do.
Hmm. Sorry, so some of the listeners have some comments. One of them said, unless you're in a long distance relationship, military or ill, why are you doing that? Um, I would say that sometimes, man, you just kind of, you know, don't want to go through all the things that sex entails, right? Because, so say I'm in a relationship with somebody, and then I have to bank on her being in the mood as well. Bank on, then I gotta, if I'm feeling lazy, then I gotta, get her involved, get her aroused, do all the different things. And sometimes you just want to rub one out and go to sleep.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and I don't think that that changes just because you are in a relationship. Sometimes you just want to rub one out and go to sleep.
Yeah, I can agree with that because I've always said I with a toy with a strong vibration, I can get there like that. And sometimes
So that Hitachi wine.
I mean
This is
yeah, so I
funny as
mean so
hell.
sometimes you may not have time to, like you said, do everything that and you know me, I like the I like a marathon session. But sometimes you don't have time for a marathon session. So, you know.
There's this one, and I've known a couple women that have used that Hitachi wine. And there was this one girl on Instagram. She's funny. It's a black girl. She kind of sings like punk rock or whatever. And she talks about different, sex and all that stuff. And she said, look, I want all the watts. And she said she pulled out that Hitachi wine and she said she thought it broke her shit because she became desensitized. She couldn't feel nothing. And she said she finally went to the doctor. And she said it's funny, I lied and told him I was riding my bike and I fell and hit the bar. But they said that more than likely she just kind of injured a nerve in her clitoris, and that's what the deal was. But
Yeah.
I think, and you tell me, I don't know, maybe women maybe women can become desensitized like that. I know for guys, the issue is you start to train your body to respond to your hand. And the positive is you last longer in the bed, but the drawback is your partner may start to feel some type of way if they can't get you there.
Yeah. I do know that there are women who can become desensitized. If you use it too much, you can kind of hurt some nerve endings. But I do believe that if you stay off of it for a little while, the nerve endings will come back. But what else did you say? Dang, I lost my train of thought.
Guys training themselves with their hands or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I've heard other women say that, their body got used to what a toy can do, which humans can't do. And so their body was looking for that to help them, have an orgasm. But so that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that how that could be deflating for your partner, but like, hey, I'm all for multiples. And if we got to pull out some hardware to make that happen, then I'm all good with that. And I'm all good with her, doing her thing on, solo. Like I said, as long as she's not denying me when I want it, that's fine. Because like shit, I'm a busy man. So sometimes I'll be tired. So if you can stay happy with me, and that okay, babe, I know you're tired. I'm just gonna go ahead and do my thing. More than likely, I'm gonna consider that like a challenge and be like, let me come in here and see what's going on. You know what I mean? But if that gets you there, that's cool. So, all right, now some more comments. Yolanda said at this age, he ain't bothering no one, he ain't sticking to no one else, and it still works. That's true, because you did got you to jack it off for sure.
Yeah.
Buddy said the limit is when it keeps him from being able to be intimate with me.
Yeah.
And
Let's just say if
you ran across that issue?
no, no. But if that becomes an issue, yeah, we got some things we gotta talk about.
Yeah, you definitely, especially because I don't know the tools that people use. Um, some people use porn, some people use memories, whatever. But especially if the masturbation becomes tied to porn usage,
Hmm.
some all kind of other questions like, well, what you watching and what you and I know we talked about this before. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are a slender woman and he's watching BBW orgy, you might feel some type of way about it.
You may.
Or, and I think you talked about this before, or if you a black woman and he's watching hot Latina lust, might be an issue. I ain't gonna lie. If my girl is watching some white boys, if she has a thing for watching pink penis, I'm gonna have an issue with that. Fair or foul.
That's fair.
What the fuck's going on? I need you to be on Dr. Umar like I am.
Oh gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Black Queens forever, nobody's never. Shout out to Dr. Umar. Frank said, just let me get in every now and again. I would get a rose, a rabbit, and some non-battery operated toys and separate her from reality and curl her toes.
Yeah. Like I
Damn.
heard a comedian say, that's his companion, not or his teammate, not his competition.
It's an enhancer.
Yeah.
It's an enhancer. So, and you know what's crazy though? And I shouldn't say it's crazy, but I find it interesting and intriguing how when you talk to different women, how their tools of choice differ.
Hmm.
Some need that power, they need that Hitachi wand. Some would like a little bullet or a rabbit or whatever. Um, the rose came out, and I think it introduced people. I don't know because I'm not a woman, but the rose came out and really highlighted the suction
Hmm.
thing. And I'm sure they had to have had suction toys before the rose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure they had, right? But it's funny how when you talk to different people, how they was like, hey, I prefer the wine, I prefer the rose. And there's some people would be like, don't give me no type of toy. I don't want no plastic on me. I'll just use my hand.
Yeah.
So everybody is different. And in that regards, women are lucky because y'all got a variety.
Yeah, all y'all have is what the pocket coochie.
She said pocket coochie.
Because I'm not gonna say the other word. So
The corner coochie. Um, I had bought, and I never used a pocket pussy, but there was this one toy. I think I still got it too. Um, it's kind of like a sleeve.
mhm.
It's like a little sleeve and it has a hole on each end. So you insert the lubrication in the hole, and the hole is very tight, very small. So when you put it on your penis, it fits tight, right? And if you use it with your partner, you know, the head of your penis is coming out so she can suck it or whatever, or you can just, use it on yourself, right? Self-love. Listen, I had to hide that motherfucker. The nut it gave me was ridiculous. And I was like, oh no, I've been and got addicted to this joint right here. Let me go ahead and hide this in the closet somewhere. And I knew that was going to happen. And so I was just like, let me go ahead and hide this because this joint right here is powerful. It's powerful because I didn't want to be that type of dude. Because you remember it came out, I think Kirk Franklin, when he went on Oprah and he was talking about how he had a porn addiction, or
Mhm.
like then women started psychoanalyzing dudes, and I saw the one girl say on social media, she was like, hey, these dudes who are addicted to porn and to jacking off, don't try to get with them because there's no pleasing them. All they know is how to please themselves. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I can see how that goes. But then you start, well, you got to go get help in order because you have a problem. And I was like, I don't know if it's considered a problem unless you're denying your partner.
I mean, if what you're doing is considered an addiction, I think any addiction needs some kind of intervention or help.
Yeah, I can see that. And perfect segue.
Hmm.
It's masturbation month, but May is also mental health awareness month.
Yes.
And hopefully we can get somebody on, a professional, to talk about it, how it applies to relationships. But my question, and hopefully it's not too personal, even though we talk about a lot of personal shit, right? um, have you ever dated somebody that had mental health problems?
Not anything that was over the top. I mean, I'm one of those people who think that we all need some kind of therapy at some point. I think all of us have issues that we probably need to work out and that we need somebody else to kind of help us maybe see alternative views or how to work through some issues that we may have. So I definitely have some exes who who definitely definitely need to see that lady, as people like to say these days. But
See, I see a guy. For me, I need to talk to a man and a black man. And
I know, but the
I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
yeah. When people say you need to go see the lady, they mean you need to go see a therapist. I know. But but I've never dated anyone that I felt like had a significant illness with their mental health. And me being me, I'm not sure if I could handle being in a relationship like that. If
I,
if they're not seeking help.
I mean, you know, I tell my business all the time, so I'll go ahead and tell this. There was a time when I was in a really, really dark place, and I was depressed, suicidal, all those things. And I share my story because I want people to learn from it. And it took a toll on my family, for real, for real. And the problem is you think about what it's doing to you, and you're like, hey, I ain't hurt nobody. It's just me, right? But how you operate when you are in a depressed state, it impacts your partner, it impacts your children, it impacts your friends. And once I was able to heal myself, um, And then I started talking to my friends. Um, they were open with me and they said, dude, like it was really hard to be around you for a while, because you were so negative. You were, in such a dark place. We couldn't turn our back on you. And they didn't really have the tools to help. Now, if I say anything like, oh, I'm having a bad week, I'm getting phone calls and text messages. Hey, 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 what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Because as men, we don't really open up at the time. We didn't really open up and share those things. But now it's more, you're not looked at as weak if you tell your homeboys, hey man, I'm having a hard time. Now it's nothing like, I was just at a fraternity reunion and we had a memorial for the brothers who had passed away. And we all shared, about each individual. And it went around the circle. And at one point, I'm consoling somebody who's crying. And then 4 minutes later, they consoling me because I'm crying. And back in the day when we were younger, and I don't know how it was with my dad, because my dad, he was, I think my dad was a boomer for sure. He was born in the 30s. So he was a boomer for sure. They were some hardcore men. And my dad was the type, I remember he had a friend who passed away, and I remember him wanting to cry, and he went and he hid because he didn't want us to see him crying. And then when my uncle, his older brother, passed away, my dad was struggling with it. And I remember, I look at it now, I was like, dude, why couldn't he just let it go? Like, why couldn't he just release those tears or whatever? But he was just, just in such a bad place. And holding that in can be really, really problematic. And then it impacts how you handle your partner, and to the point where you'll turn your partner crazy. I've seen it happen before. So now I'm in a place where I could be with somebody, but if they have any type of issues, depression, anxiety, I can have sympathy for them. I can even empathize for them because I've been there before. But unless you start going to see somebody, we ain't gonna be too long, because
Yeah.
I can't take the risk of you bringing me back to that place. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. Unfortunately, I am the type to withdraw when I'm going through stuff. So I don't talk to anybody. I will tell people, but it's usually when I've already come out of it. So people don't know that I've gone through stuff. Like right after my father passed, I went through a very depressive state, a state that I hadn't been through since
Mhm.
high school. And people don't know that I went through it in high school. Like like this is just me. I didn't tell anybody that I was going through that until after I got out of it, you know.
And see, we're friends, but you have friends who are much closer to you, right? That have known you for years. If I was your friend and I know that you went through that by yourself, I would feel some type of way, because you don't have to go through that. I may not, because sometimes like with my guys, I'm like, they don't have the tools to really help me. I know they mean well, but they don't really have shit to say that's really gonna help me when it comes to that. Now I do have one guy in particular, and what's so funny about it is he's so wise, but when it comes to like certain type of shit, he could be dumb, right? I'm not calling that man dumb or stupid because a lot of people know what I'm talking about. And he knows it because we make fun of him about it, right? But when it comes to common sense life things, I can call him up and he can give me sage advice.
Mhm.
So I would hope that at one point you don't feel the need to shoulder that by yourself. Because I'll be honest with you, that could be dangerous.
I know. I know and I see it, but it's just habit. And the only people I would ever feel comfortable talking to would be a therapist. It wouldn't be, and I think that's just because of that's how I've always been. Like people ask me how I'm doing, and I'll say fine. And I might even give people a surface level, this is what's going on, but
I remember
I've
that
never let
time.
anybody into what's really going on.
I remember that time frame, and I remember me asking you, checking on you, like, how you doing? Because I had been there before.
Hmm.
I know how difficult it is. And honestly, when I got into my real bad depressive state, it was after I lost my mom,
Hmm.
my last living parent. So I was just like totally, and me and my mom are like this.
Yeah.
I was just like totally screwed up. And that went on for years. So that's why I tell people like, listen, man, you go see that lady. Don't, it could turn dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could turn dangerous. I had a really good relationship. Um, and this person had dealt with some serious stuff, serious stuff. And it's a testament to her strength that she was able to function and overcome what she had been through. But it still would manifest in certain times, and it impacted the type of woman that she was. And when I said, hey, listen, you probably need to talk to somebody, and she was resistant. She was like,
Hmm.
this cliche, mental health. That's not something that, she was just totally resistant to it. And her lows were like super low. And like I said, it was just too much. So I had to walk and listen. We have fun. The bedroom was great. I at the time could see a future with her, right?
Hmm.
'Cause back in the day, before I got all heartbroken and everything, I used to be Mr. Lovey-Dovey, imagining love scenarios and all this old shit. And I was close to being like that again with her, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't.
can understand that.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody refuses to get help when they know they need it, or when other people think they need it.
Yeah. And I'm a proponent of therapy, going to talk to somebody because I know, like for me, there's a certain thing that I do that if I do that, I know that I need to schedule an appointment.
Hmm.
Schedule an appointment. I need to go talk it out. And most of the time, I'm just word vomit, just spilling everything out. And it's not like my guy is really like giving me something impactful, but it's an attentive ear. And when it needs a professional response, he's there. But
Hmm.
I'll talk it out and figure it out while I'm talking to him. And then I'd be like, damn, I feel a lot better now.
Yeah. A lot of times a lot of times with most people, a good talking everything out, getting everything you have in you out. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I used to write poetry, and a lot of my feelings and my thoughts would come out in my poetry, and every time I did it, it would be like this weight was lifted because I was getting everything out. So talking to someone, therapy, this is it's kind of all the same. It's getting that stuff out of you, because if I heard somebody say recently, what you don't speak through your mouth will come out through your actions, and a lot of times if it's negative stuff, those actions may be detrimental.
Mm. You used to do spoken word.
Very short period of time. I used to do a little bit of everything. I'm one of those jack of all trades type of people. I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, nah. So, some people have said that I could be creative, but like poetry and like creating art or whatever, that's just never been my thing. It's just, I don't feel like it's my thing because I don't feel like I'm good at it or whatever.
Mhm.
And I don't think, I mean, I've dated people who can sing that I consider, um, a creative, but I've never dated an artist like, somebody that creates art on the regular, professional or just for a pastime. I did mess that one girl that had to get it off before she came and saw me. She's an artist, but we were never in a relationship though. Have you ever dated an artist?
Um, Depends on what's up. I do have an ex who used to rap, but that was before we met. Um, I if you talk about in terms of like creating stuff, I do believe my ex who I learned how to do all the drywall and all that stuff. I can consider him that because when he would like get to painting and doing like he could do like tiles on the floor, but he could put them into like designs and stuff. I think all of that's kind of creative. Other than that, no. I've always wanted to date a singer. Just because my family sings. So I was like, if we get married, it'll fit right in, but no. Never dated anybody like that
You a singer?
back in the day.
All right, like look at you trying to be humble and shit.
No, I'm serious. No.
It don't go away.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay,
And I can pinpoint it too. Now my cousin says it's probably because I don't sing anymore. My voice is not because your vocal cords it's a muscle. You have to work it. So he says it's probably I'm not working it. But I can distinctly know that in 2019 I tried to sing a note that used to be easy for me and I couldn't get it out. So yeah,
but you can still hold carry a note.
I can carry a tune.
That's listen. I sing all the motherfucking time, and not only do I sing the wrong words, I sing off key and loud as hell. So most people I know that are like you, who are singers, who either sing professionally or they sing in a group or whatever. When you hear them sing, you can like, yeah, they can sing. Now, there may be a difference between where you used to be, because like you said, you're not training, but I don't think it goes away though. I don't think it 100% goes away. It's sort of like being able to hoop. Like if you ain't been on the court for a couple of times, you might be rusty. But if you
Yeah.
get on the court, yeah, I'm sure you can blow again. Tay,
Yeah.
I know would you or wouldn't you? I didn't even think
Okay.
you got something.
Well, okay, so I heard this story today and it came off of the Reddit. They have the little Am I the Asshole?
I thought Reddit was like for racist white boys.
Reddit is everything. Reddit is anything you want
I thought Reddit was for racist white boys and for porn.
to. No. Reddit I don't get all into Reddit, but if I do a search for like if I'm looking for like common answers, not professional answers, but like what do regular everyday people say, like the best R&B from 96. There might be a Reddit post where somebody has talked about that. So like Reddit is for everything. But
Okay.
anyway, the Am I the Asshole stories typically come from Reddit. But
Okay.
anyway, I heard the story today, and it wasn't an Am I the Asshole. I think this person was just trying to get out their story. But anyway, so the woman says her grandmother had a birthday. So she sent her grandmother a present from Amazon. Okay.
Mhm.
Fast forward, she bought herself a dildo or vibrator, and it never came. So she so she contacted Amazon, said my package never arrived. And Amazon's like, yeah, it was delivered and everything, and this is the address. It was her
Grandma,
grandma.
grandma got the package
It
too.
was her grandmother's address. So she said she waited a little while. The grandmother was like, I got a package and I think it's for you. She said, but I gave it to your father. So now
Oh, it gets worse.
so
Oh
now
no.
right, so now she's like, not only did I embarrass myself and send it to my grandmother, but now my father has this package. So 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 her father gives her the gift. They never mention it again. But when she contacted Amazon to say that she never received a package, they automatically sent her a new package, but she never told them to change the address.
They send it back to
So
grandma.
they sent the second one to grandma again. Grandma gives the second one to the father again. So the father this time takes her to the side. It's like, stop sending your grandmother vibrators. So my question is, have you ever sent somebody something by mistake? And if not, if this situation, what would you have done?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have. Me and an ex attempted to make a sex tape. We attempted to make a sex tape. And this was right around the time when porn was transitioning from VHS tapes to DVDs, which was like a major thing, right?
Hmm.
So, because it's much easier to hide the DVD versus the damn porno tapes. But um, I, me and my homeboy, we would like find different stuff. And this is right when like LimeWire and shit, so people was just downloading stuff all crazy. So like we was finding stuff to download, and then like if I got something good, I would copy it and I would send it to him. Right?
Hmm.
You see where I'm going?
Yes.
But our tape, and I sent it to him. And he called me and he was like, "Hey man, what the fuck you got going on?" And I was like, "What you talking about?" And he was like, "All I know is I seen you walking into the door and the lights was all crazy." And I was like, "Throw that away." He was like, "Oh, motherfucker, I already did." And I was just like, "Yeah, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Throw that away."
Oh,
And
God.
I made that mistake. I don't even fucking know. But yeah, that was embarrassing.
I'm sure
Thankfully,
it
it was my homeboy. Now, sending it to mama or grandma or something, oh, they both dead and gone. And they probably, so this is a funny story. Oh my gosh. So I grew up in the Midwest. So we had basements. Y'all got basements up on the East Coast?
Yeah.
So we had finished, my parents had finished the basement. So it was like its own, living quarters slash apartment down there, right? And
Hmm.
basement. So my parents' room was right above mine. So I would go to the other side of the house, and me and whoever I was fooling around with, my girlfriend at the time, we would do our thing on the other side. So most time we'd be on the floor. So my thing was, I'm going to hide all my rubbers and all my other shit that I didn't got from the sex store. I'm just gonna hide it underneath the couch. Cause that way when we do our thing, all I gotta do is reach and pull it out.
Hmm.
Oh, I go away to college, come back home, and my dad is like, "What's up?" We talking, he's happy to see me and everything. So then he walks with me downstairs. I'm like, why are you coming downstairs? He don't ever come downstairs. Like, I'm thinking like, okay. So then I go into my room and I don't know, because you went to school where you grew up, did you leave or like you live in the dorm and everything?
No, I stay home.
Okay. So most guys, when we left our room, however my room was you ever see I'm gonna get you sucker and his mom was like,
Hmm.
left your room just like you left it, right? That's how normally it was. So I come back and my room is clean. I was like, damn, y'all clean my room? And no, I skipped a step. So we go downstairs. He said, "Hey, look how we reorganized the basement." And I was like, "Damn, you and mama did this on your own." Yeah, I was moving the couches and stuff, because my parents was older, not thinking that my shit was hidden, right? And he,
Hmm.
yeah. And so he walks with me to my bedroom, and my bed is made, but part of the cover is pulled back. And we walk in the room, and my dad said, "Hey man, you need to start hiding your shit better." And I said, "What you talking about?" He's like, "You need to start hiding your shit better." And then he pulls back the cover, and all this shit is sitting there. And me and him started dying laughing, right? So we cracking up laughing, and then it hit me. I said, "Wait, did mama see this?" And he was like, "Mm-hmm." And I came back, my mama was so mad at me.
I'm sure she was.
I was like, "Mama," she was like, "Mhm." Yeah, so I definitely have my embarrassing situations for sure.
Okay.
What
I've
about
never
you?
had anything with a parent or anybody close to me like that, so I don't have any stories to tell.
Got me telling my business. You ain't ever been caught, like walked in on anything like that? Damn, I got caught. My dad caught me. Yeah, I don't know. It was
No,
bad.
I almost did. So, my with my father's career, he used to travel all the time, and before he got remarried, he used to have me house sit and sometimes car sit before I got my own car. But so this one time had this, had this guy come over while I was there. My father came home early. The only thing that saved me was that for some reason my father never used the front door or the back door. He always came in through the garage. So I heard,
Come up, yeah.
yes, I heard the garage door come up. So I was like, oh God. So my friend ran into the bathroom real quick. And so when my father came in, he was like he was just coming out of the bathroom.
Your father knew that was some bullshit.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he
Your
did.
father knew that was some bullshit. Number one, why you got him here?
Exactly. Exactly. Because before that guy, the only guy who had been like staying with me at my father's house was my ex-fiance, but my father knew that. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that wasn't all the time because my ex-fiance had his own place. So
Yeah, your dad was in denial. He was just like, I don't want to think about my baby girl like that.
one thing my father was not is in denial because he thought I was having sex way before I actually was. So
Damn. I would talk to my kids about it, but I always try to keep it real, like educational or clinical. Because I didn't want them to feel like they couldn't talk to me about those things.
hmm
I didn't want them to feel like they could talk to me about their relationship problems or anything like that. So I just went here because I didn't get that from my parents. I didn't, my parents were old. They were old. My mom was 38 when I was born, and my dad was 43.
okay.
I'm 43. And now I have friends who are in their mid to late 40s that got toddlers.
hmm
And children are a blessing, but I be thinking like you motherfuckers is crazy. Y'all gonna be in y'all 50s taking a kid to kindergarten. And literally that was my pops. My pops was
Yeah.
50s with a damn, elementary school kid. And it worked out for him because he didn't think he could have kids or whatever. But yeah, but with that being said, with older parents, they weren't really trying to be understanding about sex or anything like that. Now, my dad thought it was funny just because it was a man thing, but my mom, nah, she went with that.
Yeah. I think my father was trying to be too much of a realist without actually getting to know me and what my feelings and thoughts were about the whole situation. Because actually, when I started college, I was my goal back then was actually to wait till I got married, which didn't happen, obviously. But yeah, but he in his trying to keep it real, he assumed that I was gonna go to college and get knocked up. Yeah,
Damn.
I know, effed up. I know.
Not
Yeah,
go to college and have sex
I was
either.
pissed with him when he said that, but yeah.
Okay.
And it's another thing being quiet. People tend to assume things about you, and one thing people
You sneaky.
no
That's what I
no
would say. The quiet motherfucker is sneaky.
no. People tend to think you're naive. People tend to think you're a pushover. Those type of things. When
Really?
you're really quiet, when you're really nice, yes, those are the. I'm telling you, this is what I've had to live with.
I believe you because you definitely are a quiet person. So I
Yeah,
believe. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, and I think my father fell into the more of a naive person, especially because I'm not as outgoing as he was. So I think yeah.
So he thought some dude was gonna talk to you about them draws and
Yeah, whereas unbeknownst to him, I watched him well, most of my life, so I knew to stay away from certain dudes.
damn. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's definitely discussion about that because the male role models that you have for men and women definitely can determine how you handle relationships.
hmm
I mean, we ain't got time to get into it tonight, but it's like for my family, it's almost, how like some people would say that Marv B is toxic. um, it's almost like a accepted thing.
Hmm.
Like I've had cousins be like, "What you got going on? You a you a Banks man, so I know you doing something." And back in the day, they was right. But I just always found it funny that that type of liberty that I had, my girl cousins definitely did not have
Yeah.
at all. At all. And it's like I said, the guy that probably gave me the worst advice that I really took to heart in terms of treating women, I didn't even like dude. This is my cousin. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even really get
Hmm.
along. But he made one comment about how you treat women, and it created a monster. So that's why I said we as guys need to do a lot better when it comes to how we mentor young men. Because I tell them all the time, hey, look, just be honest, bro. Be honest. If you don't want to just be with her, tell her.
Yeah.
Tell her. Because, I didn't got chased with knives and had my car my car damaged and shit because I was less than honorable. But you ever did that, Tay? You ever
No.
knife?
No.
You ain't never got violent?
No. With one guy, I thought about it. Definitely thought about it. But I'm too much of a Capricorn. I analyze everything. I think too much ahead. If I do this, this is gonna happen.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, I think we didn't hit enough, you know what I'm saying? Tell people where they can find us.
You can find us at Conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at cvadthepodcast at gmail.com. Make sure you like this video, share it, subscribe, and leave us a comment.
And that's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. Make sure you tell a friend. We'll have you next time. Peace.
Bye.